Okay, so here's what I wanted to do is just share a video. And again, this is for seller leads. Instead of having some long rambled on conversation, I thought I'd just share this with you because my hope is that you're going to, 90% of your questions will be answered here as opposed to going back and forth via a chat. So, um, again, I hope this is valuable. So really quickly, this is me over here. My name is Jeremy Rupp. I'm with Spectrum. What we do is help real estate agents like yourself, teams and brokerages turn strangers into happy customers, as well as just overall, what we really enjoy is just business development and helping people do the high dollar tasks, right? So be effective with their time and so on and so forth. And this is a really great example of that. So I'm going to dive in here if that's cool with you. So one of the thing as I'm moving around here is that the majority of all traffic these days is increasingly becoming mobile. And one thing to keep in the back of your mind is that um, these are super mobile friendly. They're based on a conversation that would potentially happen via text and so on and so forth. So which is obviously from a mobile device. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this, because that is a very big point here. So right out of the gate, because this is based in Facebook, right? We have the ability to make this personal. So what I mean by that is addressing people with their first name. And when we do that, as you know, it's great for just simple yet very effective rapport building. And then you introduce yourself and your company and so on and so forth, right? And again, this is all personalized to you. And this is obviously a demo. So I have this set up so that I can make tweaks, so on and so forth, and have our conversations like this with you right now. So what can I do for you today, right? That's the question. Are one of these options a great choice for you? Now, typically, we have used these because these are the most common ones. However, if on the off chance that one of these isn't for you, then we can have that conversation. So I'm going to explore first the get home value piece, because that has been, we have it first because it is the most common, right? So great, find the value of your home in less than 1 minute. We'll provide you with that valuation. Get started. They click the button, then they come over here, right? So all we really need is you know what we need, right? Which is their address. You have blah, blah, blah. It tells you what to do. They import it, and then we ask for their city. They put it in. We ask for their zip. We put it in. And then it shows us typing here, because this is mimicking a real conversation. And it says, oh, last question, such and such name. Are you interested in selling your home? Or if you are interested in selling your home, what would be your time frame? So isn't this awesome information for you? So if someone says right away, oh my gosh, right, big deal for us to be able to have this. And quite frankly, if it's any of these first three, it's a very powerful piece of information to know, to take immediate action, right? And then if it's the last couple, maybe depending on how some of the other conversations might go, take into consideration how to follow up with them in a proper way, right? And then what we're going to do is confirm some of their contact information, okay? Again, this is in Facebook, so it will populate their email. And all they have to do, if it's the correct one, is tap on it. And then the same thing happens for their phone number. They just need to simply tap on it if it's correct. If not, they can enter it in, right? And then we just want to confirm this information. Now, if that information is incorrect, what will happen is they'll start over and they'll go to the top of this exact form that we just did, okay? Now, if they say yes, I'll click on this and it'll bring us up. It'll go through a tagging process, because again, this platform acts much like a CRM in many ways. Okay, so there's tags applied and so on and so forth. So again, it's going to have a little bit of a delay to type, and it says the home value is just an estimate and a great starting point. There are several factors, as you know, to consider when finding the home value of your home. We will closely review the comps, And what we're doing here is letting them know what's going on, right? Because as you know, we don't want people to think they should list their property based on whatever this 1 minute valuation is. What we want to do is get the conversation started. And that's why we do this. That's why Zillow did it. They were genius in so many ways, in creating this, investing in this elaborate, or whoever was the first people that did it, this elaborate way to get people's attention. How much is my property worth? Oh my gosh, whether they're going to sell or not, they wanted that information. Okay, so we want to leverage that opportunity as well, but give them more than that, because you and I both know that there's a good chance that listing for exactly what it's valued at is not going to be what they should do. Okay, so it just has that conversation. Okay, we're going to closely review comps. Da 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 da. We can customize this to talk about features in your particular area, right? And then we also can conduct a more in-depth research, and we'll send that over to them. Okay, so you have their email. You could do some research on their property at this point, right? Because you have their address, you have various pieces of information. What you don't have is maybe condition and stuff like that. But what you could do is explore what you see in the comps. And if you had questions, you could do a follow up and ask them some other questions to get a more accurate one, or set up an appointment, do a drive by, do some other things in order to further this relationship, especially if when they were asked the question over here about when they were thinking about selling, if it's sooner than later, right? So again, these questions are strategically in place to allow for these opportunities for you to jump on them. Okay. Now what will happen is it says, what do you want to do next? Okay, so it can visit your website, they can call you, or they could do a home search. All right. Now I'm gonna stop really quickly following this flow, and I'm gonna go back to the beginning, because where this one ends on home search and where another one over here ends is the same place. So before I jump into that, what I wanted to do is come over here really quickly and start at the beginning. So if we started this home search over here, as you can see, what we would do is we'd come down and immediately start the home search. Okay, so that would go to the exact same place. But what if instead they wanted to learn more about you? Okay, I put my example down there. But what if it was you, right? So what we could do is give them an opportunity to click on a button. Okay, so have a little bit more information and then click on. So please use the buttons below, contact me, visit my website, or learn more how I help investors. So it introduces that other piece of your business potentially that you may want to explore in this particular context, right? Maybe you only work with investors, and we could structure this a little bit differently, but nonetheless, I won't go into this flow right now. If you want to reach out and ask about that, not a problem at all. What I will do right now is jump into this flow. So if they say they want to do a home search, what will happen is that it's basically going to open up the exact a very similar version of what we just went through. They won't see that it's jumping screens and all this fun stuff. What they're going to see is that the continuation of the conversation happens. Okay, so it says, awesome, we want to provide you with a list of homes that best fits your criteria. How many bedrooms do you need? And it goes through this process. Now, what's really cool is that this sets tags, if you will, and when we set these up for you, this actually will talk to your MLS system, assuming that yours is common, right? Which most areas around the country are, but nonetheless, all this data is brought in so that you can basically automate this process, right? So you get their bedrooms, you get their bathrooms, you get their price range, okay, and we'll customize this to your area, your target audience, and so on and so forth. Excuse me. And then so on and so forth. So then the final thing here is just we want to make sure that we understand the area, okay? So the zip codes, da-da-da-da, I got it. Now I'm just looking for, got what I'm looking for. I can create a list for you. Just need to confirm your email address again. So again, it'll populate. They can either click on it and or enter it. And we're working on that list, and we'll email it to you shortly. How simple is that? So now all of this is happening in the background, and you didn't have to do anything, but you got to find out a lot about a person on their time. Okay, so again, I hope this is valuable to you, and you see this. At the end of the day, at this day and age, one thing to really think about, and I'm sorry if I repeated this before, but basically people want to do things on their time. And I'm sure you see that, right? So you do it, I do it, we all want to do it. And quite frankly, like Uber and Airbnb and tons of other companies out there, technology as a whole, what it's doing is it allowing us all as a consumer to do things when we want to do them. Amazon. So instead of driving to the grocery store We can go on Amazon and it can be there potentially in a couple hours. Like, we can do things on our time, right? So what this does is it's not only good for you or great for you because you don't have to go through this process in the prospecting world necessarily, in the data entry and all of that, but it's also great for your consumer because they can do it on their time, which you and I both know that they want to do. So I hope that makes sense to you. And if not, feel free to reach out and ask questions on that. But that is a really, really big deal. And then also, as I mentioned before, this is super, super mobile friendly. So everyone's gravitating more and more and more towards doing everything on their phone. And because this is so mobile friendly, it's an added element of being really, really powerful, both you and the consumer. So if you have any questions on this, I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about it. We'd love to build this for you if it fits. But in order to really find that out, we should probably jump on a call. I'd love for you to ask me a couple questions. I'm going to ask you a bunch. I genuinely love having those conversations and just engaging with folks in the world and learning about their business and what they have going on and where they came from and all that stuff. That's really enjoyable. And if nothing else, we can part as friends. And I don't want to say the word guarantee, but I'd be hard pressed to find out that you didn't get a lot of value out of our conversation. I'm not going to hold anything back. I want to bring as much value as I can because that's just frankly how I'm wired. So love for you to reach out. I'll put a button down below here so you can click on that, have the opportunity. It'll go right to my calendar. You can jump in there and pick a time that's convenient for you, and we can jump on a call and go through this process, and you can ask me, anything you want. So again, thanks again. I hope this makes sense, and I look forward to talking to you. Go ahead and click down below and schedule a call, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.